USA, USA, USA. Welcome, everyone. This is an impromptu post-game show. I know we haven't been here for a few days. The Captain America of the Lakers Fast Break, has fell ill, but nothing too permanent. But I did want to come on because I happen to be available around this time, which is very rare, and I just happened to be available right at the end of the United States battle against Serbia. And I'm going to be honest, guys. This was the first time I've been nervous since the playoffs, since the Denver Laker playoff game. Not overly nervous, but I was nervous. And I don't know what it is about Jokic, but every time Jokic is in the building, I get nervous. I'm getting sick and tired of this. But the United States team were down 17. And when I chimed back in, because I've been kind of in and out of the game all day, they were down 13, I believe, late in the fourth, around eight minutes. And then all of a sudden, Durant hit that three, and then Jokic fouled AD, and then that was followed by Devin Booker hitting a three as well. And I kind of felt right after that shot that there might be a chance here where the United States team can probably start gaining that momentum and taking it home. So congratulations to everyone. We can criticize the game for letting it get to this, huge hole that they had in, but this is an entertainment show, and in terms of basketball, and the United States team brought every kind of entertainment you could have wanted in one game, and that was we saw the stars of the stars of the stars perform at their best. Steph Curry performed well. If he hadn't played as well as he did, this might have been a 30-point deficit instead of a 17-point deficit during the game. And if Embiid doesn't show up, Durant doesn't keep hitting shots, LeBron doesn't do what he does, well, again, this is what it's supposed to be, right? So I'm very, very, very happy and satisfied with the win, obviously, and looking forward to introducing the math teacher, some guy at work, Jamie Sweet. I was kind of doing a little bet in my head on who might show up out of nowhere right now, and I gotta admit, even though I didn't say it publicly, that I was like, I just got a feeling Jamie's gonna show up.
I'm at work. I'm at work waiting for a computer to boot up.
Yeah,
I'm doing stuff. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. I'm doing a lot better than I was about 30 minutes ago. I was kind of getting worried there. So. Those of you who are just chiming in for the first time, and I apologize, guys, for not answering some of your comments. For some weird reason on my teleprompter, the chat isn't showing on my main screen, so I got to go open up my YouTube page and start reading some of your stuff, and I'll address some of your questions and comments while Jamie is talking. Again, for those of you who just chimed in, the United States beat Serbia, and they were down at least 17 at some point in the game. They won 94-91. LeBron James scores 16 points, has 12 rebounds and 10 assists. He had a triple-double, which, that's just what LeBron does. Curry dropped 36, huge 36, and beat 19. And, of course, Durant, who right now is my MVP of this tournament, hit some key shots that likely turned the momentum into the United States going and winning. So, Jamie, I guess question for you tonight, wherever you are, or today where we are, is did the United States team kind of get a little kind of complacent here, or was Serbia that focused and that determined to win?
I mean, I think Serbia had a great first quarter, right? I mean, if you look at the box score, great first quarter. They jumped out to, they ended the quarter up 8. And then we didn't really claw back and have the right sort of intensity. Our bench didn't show up the way it normally has in the Olympics. 80, 2 quick fouls, KD, 2 quick fouls coming in. And that really messed up the vibe of the second unit, I feel like. And I saw somebody put in the comments, I think it was JSJ. Yeah, JSJ saying AD still cannot guard Jokic. It's hard to disagree with that. It's real hard to disagree with that because it's true. It's hard to disagree with things that are true. And I wish it was otherwise. I wish that AD could guard Jokic, but you start to see in a game like this, LeBron's putting forth a supreme effort. And you still see AD kind of have that, just not that alpha dog mentality. Here we are, it's the Olympics. Is there a greater, world stage, your playoff, NBA playoff rival? And it's not that he had the worst game. He just didn't have a great game compared to, Embiid's second half, Curry's overall game, KD's second half. And LeBron's overall strong game of just general support whatever you need. LeBron's there. Rebound, assist, points. He guarded Jokic down at times in the second half more than he did in the first. And what I don't want to hear or see though, and please, if you say this, just keep it out, keep it away from me because I'll torch you for it. This is not to be expected from LeBron over an 82 game season. Just enough with that. The dude's going to be 700 years old. He was around when the Greeks were inventing the Olympics, as we all know, and it just. I get it. He's paid a lot of money, whatever. It's a pittance compared to what the owners make. He's not going to be able to play like that for a full 82 game season. If he did, he would break down and he would suck in the playoffs. That's just how it is. Embiid found another gear tonight. This was maybe I have to say I was not really a fan of Joel in the Olympics up to this game. Really, I thought that he'd just kind of been phoning it in, and I say phoning it in is probably a little harsh. He's coming back from a major injury. He's been working himself into game shape on the court against competition, and so it'll help Philadelphia, I think, because they've already kind of gone through this. And if he doesn't have any setbacks or anything, it'll be good for them in the regular season once camp comes in and he's basically ready to go. But that's sort of my fear with the LeBron AD is that I don't want LeBron putting forth this much effort right now. I want him to save a little for us because I'm a little bit worried about next season, what with us bringing back basically the same team and all. So anyway, we don't need to get into that. That'll be Tom and Michael and I will get into that this Saturday or Sunday. And I'm sure we'll resolve all the issues amongst the three of us. And anybody's always happy to have everybody on. But point being, I thought that this was a really nice. This is obviously the hardest game, other than maybe the second or the first South Sudan game, where their energy just sort of carried them to a level of competition that the U.S. simply wasn't prepared for at that time. And then you saw that they were able to kind of weather that at first, and then just come back and dominate. This was far more of a battle. I disagree with anybody who says Serbia sucks. They've got some great players. I would put their point guard. I would take their point guard over Jalen Hood-Schifino right now, without even thinking. I'd be, you want Jalen Hood-Schifino, Serbia? We'll trade you your point guard on your starting team for the Olympics for JHS right now and twice on Sundays. And that, it was a great win. That was a great win. It's going to be a really, really high energy Saturday game against France. And that's going to be really, really exciting. So carve out some time, make sure you get that on your TV, maybe skip, skeet shooting or whatever else is going on that day. I don't know the schedule.
Again, for those of you who have just joined us, the United States defeats Serbia 95-91 in a highly contested game. The United States outscored Serbia 32-15 in the final quarter, and essentially any other mistakes in that quarter would have likely meant a loss. Looking at the team as it's constructed, the team is highly constructed. They have every kind of a talent that you could want. You have bigs that can shoot. You have bigs that can move. You have bigs that can play defense. You have Steph Curry who can shoot. You have LeBron who can rebound and get to the basket and make layups and shoot. You have Booker who can snipe, in any at moment's notice if you need him to. Ant-Man, one of our esteemed chat room patrons mentioned something about Ant-Man, and this is something I've been sort of hinting at about the kind of over-exaggeration of him being him. Everybody has a good week, a month, maybe even a year, and all of a sudden he's this guy that's from Venus or Mars, and we've never seen anybody like that before. Yet the results don't say that, folks. I know it's not fair, but that's life. You hear that, folks? Life isn't fair, and in sports,
that's right.
Winning matters. Granted, I know you can't control roster constructions. I get it, but when you talk about that level, okay, talk about that level, and I'm going to explain why this works with the USA team, but I'm going to start it off in the small areas because, again, this still is a Lakers show. We're more an NBA show than a United States international show, right? So you have an accumulation of talent on the USA team, and this team is spread out in the NBA. And certain guys are playing together, certain players are not, whatever. Point is, stop anointing players as being great. Stop saying, oh, Embiid and this and that. Now, I joked about Steph Curry and Embiid and how they probably should have just stayed at the hotel until the gold medal round. But that was more tongue-in-cheek. Plus, it was the results that I saw. And we obviously saw today that if they didn't have Steph Curry and Joel Embiid, they probably don't win. No, let's just say they won't win. They would not have won.
They needed those guys.
They needed everyone. At the same time, you also have to factor in that all these skill sets, all these great players playing together without any kind of chemistry, elongated chemistry, months and months of practicing together, sometimes that gets in the way as well. A lot of times these international teams have played together since they were kids. And granted, I know the NBA players have played together in AAU and all that, but the country is different in America versus Serbia, Slovenia, France. Those guys actually played together since they were kids on the same team representing their country. Whereas in America, you don't really see that a lot. You don't see that until they get to the pros or maybe even college. So the United States team is the topic now, and I'm going to kind of stick to that a little bit, and I'll venture into the NBA side too a little bit just to kind of make it make sense. But looking at, because we're not invested in the United States team as much as we are in the NBA, you look at this game as a accomplishment with entertainment. I was nervous in the sense of, God, really? Are we going to? Because you knew what was going to come. You knew what was coming, Jamie. You knew what was coming.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to start hearing the LeBron's word again. That's what I was thinking about. We were going to start the NBA season. We were already tired of looking at Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss and that whole fiasco. Now I got to sit here and hear the LeBron's talk. That's all I was thinking about, and that's probably what made me nervous because I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with the LeBron's crap. We heard that 20 years ago. It was stupid then, and it's stupid now. And luckily, we don't have to. We've been spared that. So the United States, in a lot of ways, showed me more resilience by what they did tonight, because I actually do think they're going to blow up France in the gold medal round because of this. And for me, folks, here comes back to the whole fairness. Fair. You want fair? If you want a fair, go to the county fair wherever you're at. That's fair. That's the fair. Okay? When you don't win and you're considered, and I'm putting quotes on this, folks that are listening on the iTunes and all the iPods and all that, you got to win. You got to win, and you got to win a lot. It's not enough, especially if you're going to be considered a great player next to the greats of the past, guys like Jordan, Kareem. Do you think, Jamie, do you think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be the greatest center of all time if he had 2 championships? The answer is no.
No.
Now, the reason why Wilt Chamberlain stays into the conversation was because he was so unreal. Statistically, you have to put him in there. However, imagine if Wilt had gone 6-0 in the finals. There would be no discussion. Not Jordan, not Kareem, Not LeBron, not Kobe, not anyone. It would be Wilt. Wilt would be 6-0 in the finals, and this is what it is. So winning in the end, folks, this correlates to tonight's game, today's game, wherever you are. Winning is all people will remember today. They will not remember 17-point deficit, down 13 with 8+ left. They're going to remember Durant was clutch, LeBron was clutch, Steph Curry was clutch, and Joel Embiid stayed clutch long enough, not opening that huge trap of his to actually benefit finally after, 3 weeks now, Jamie? Has it been 3 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so my next question to you is, what is France thinking right now? Because they got to be likely thinking, shoot, we had a shot against Serbia. We are not going to get a pissed off. Now we're going to get a pissed off USA team because of today's performance coming in and wanting to win the gold.
I mean, listen, this I feel like the gold medal is always America's to lose in this sport. Like it just is. Canada can put, Dylan Brooks and Jamal Murray on the team. Germany can put Schroeder. France has Wemby and Batum, I think, are the only two NBA guys. Maybe there's one more that I'm forgetting. Probably one more that I'm forgetting. If that's Gerald with his Lakers fast break hovering. Hello, Gerald. Thank you for watching us, big brother. Thank you for watching us. It's America's to lose, and so you saw that. I think the only team that showed you a blueprint for success is South Sudan, honestly. And that is, you have to overwhelm Team USA with speed and defense. And if you can't sustain that for 40 minutes in Olympic competition, not 48, 40, you're just not you can't keep up. The U.S. has too many guys who can hit shots. The U.S. has too many guys who can defend inside and out. Having Holiday, Bam, and AD on the team with, even old guys like LeBron and KD closing out to whatever ability they still have left. Booker, who's really taken on the Kobe role, the elder Kobe role on this team, where he's like, I don't care what I do. We just got to win. I'll defend. I'll make plays. I'll shoot the ball. I'll do whatever is required. This is for me, honestly, I'm probably the most impressed with Devin Booker because of I've always thought his mentality was the weakest aspect of his game, and seeing him willing to sacrifice what I would imagine his perceived role would or could or should be is kind of refreshing. And the way he's done it in a way that Jason Tatum has been unable to do, which is without pouting like a WLB, is refreshing. I'm loving it. I was a Devin Booker fan up until like 2 years ago when it was like, he'd start complaining to the refs when they showed up at the arena, before the game. Like, it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, just chill out. Like, play. Just go play. Stop with the whining and the yapping and the whining and the yapping. Like, just go play the game. And so this has been really refreshing to see. And I hope it carries over for him into the regular season. And if it does, it probably means Phoenix is going to be better than I want them to be, and that's fine. That's not to say that France and Serbia and all these teams aren't good. They're all good. They're all good. It's just the U.S. I don't know if there's a guy on there other than maybe Holiday and Booker who isn't probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the big
White.
stuff.
Derek White probably won't end. There's
dude, I wouldn't say that. This is unfortunate, but I think the Naismith Hall of Fame has become so accommodating that they're even putting guys in the Hall of Fame that should have had better careers. That's their criteria. And sorry to say this to the director of the USA team, but Grant Hill had no business making the Hall of Fame. They're going to say that, well, his Duke thing, and he did have a good career, folks. Folks, I'm gonna be very clear on this.
He was injured his whole career.
Yes, exactly. You got to have at least at least 3 years of professional sports in my book to where you were the best player in the world in your sport. If you had a short career, if you had a long career, and because there is criteria there, I do think longevity and the ability to play a lot with, of course, the greatness of it. Because you can't put AC Green in the Hall of Fame. That's not going to work either. He wasn't that good. He wasn't that player. You gotta, I don't know. It should be common sense at this point. But anybody that makes the Olympic team should be a Hall of Famer. I think the only one up until now that you said, Derek White, the only one that hasn't made the Hall of Fame is Christian Laettner. But he was a college player, so I don't know necessarily if you could count that.
Yeah.
And there's the current Olympic team has been compared to the first Dream Team, the second Dream Team, the 08 Dream Team.
Right.
And because we're just infatuated with this constant nonsense. And I'm going to make it make sense a little bit here, folks. So there was a stat that said there was like 5 guys that played in the NBA when the first Dream Team played in 1992. And I don't really put a lot of onus on that because, again, a lot of these countries were kids when they started playing and they continued to play. They should have likely played in some kind of chemistry and be able to play well. The only reason why they couldn't beat the United States is because the United States had the greatest team ever assembled in professional sports history. The only player on that team that didn't really play was Larry Bird. Larry Bird was just, his back was kaput. Everyone else, think about it, man. Patrick in his prime, Malone in his prime, Barkley in his prime, Jordan in his prime. If Magic had not gotten HIV, he still was great. And I still would say he was in his prime. Late prime, but he was still in his prime. Then you have John Stockton in his prime. Then you had Clyde Drexler in his prime. Then you had some guy at work just joined. I think you're on here twice here, Jay. Anyways, so comparisons. You know, I don't want to. Oh, look, it's Jamie twice. There we go. What campus are you on, by the way?
Long Beach City College.
Where?
That's where I am. All Long Beach City College.
Oh, Long Beach City College. Good deal. So comparing everybody and comparing this and compare that doesn't matter. Let's just let this be what it is. And right now, the United States are going to the gold medal round. They're going to face France. And I mean, what's your prediction on the score here? Are we looking at a 120-90 score, or the United States team gonna be complacent again, let France get a little bit of good feelings, and then come back and squash them?
I'm going with number 2. I think it's going to be a less than 15-point win for the Team USA. It's going to be like, 10, 12-point win. I think France is going to come out and shoot lights out, play lights out. Again, kind of like how Serbia did. I expect France to get off to like a hot start. And then from there, it's going to have to come down to who can maintain consistency. And I will say this, if somebody doesn't shoot, whether it's Steph or KD or Ant-Man or any combination of players that you want to put together, doesn't have that efficient kind of like 25 to 35 point, on pretty decent efficiency scoring output, it's going to be hard to even win in double digits because you can't rely. It's going to be hard to score around the rim. Wemby's going to lock down the paint better than any center we've faced so far. And that's not a knock against Jokic. It's just that defense is probably the weakest aspect of his game, whereas I think for Wembanyama, defense is probably the strongest part of his game right now, and is only going to get better at everything. So that's what has always kind of scared me about that guy. It's not that he's some sort of otherworldly offensive player. It's that he's got all the tools to be an otherworldly offensive player, and he's already an otherworldly defensive menace with his height, length, and instincts. So that's what's going to be hard. Guys who thrive at getting to the rim and scoring over a big man are going to have a hard time doing that against Wembanyama. And, It'd be interesting to see who they put on him to start the game. It'd be interesting to see if they put Embiid on him to start the game. I actually think AD matches up a little bit better because he's faster. But we'll see. We'll see. That's an interesting matchup. It seems like he's been kind of little Stevie Kerr's been pretty into having Bam and AD off the bench. And that as a defensive tandem has just been a lot of fun to watch. It makes me wish we had somebody like Dwight. The Dwight Howard time has come and gone where we shouldn't bring Dwight out of the mothballs, but we do need what we don't have on the Lakers, which is somebody like Bam, who's just like I'm not saying we can go get Bam Adebayo. That's not realistic, but we need like a defensive minded. Like I would have loved to see us get Andre Drummond as opposed to any of the guys we have, any of the vet minimum guys who picked up their options. There's still a world I can see where I guess, and maybe we use this as a transition into some things Lakers, with the Lauri Markkanen signing and the fact that Utah now above the roster minimum salary floor, I think they're maybe even into the first apron territory or close to it. They don't have to spend any more money, but they do need to sign 3 more players to fill out their roster to get to the league minimum of players because they only got 10. League minimum, I think, is 13, or they only have 9 and the league minimum is 12. I can't remember. So with that, there's a world where I can still see us maybe pushing Cam or pushing Wood into Utah's roster for the cost of a second rounder, which I would do in a heartbeat. I don't know if Rob has the wherewithal and the brains to pick up the phone, call Danny Ainge, and make that deal. And if Danny Ainge is asking for 2 second rounders, then Rob's right to say no. That's just absurd. But if you can get rid of one of Cam or Christian Wood for a second rounder and free up that taxpayer MLE and bring in, well, Drummond's gone, but bring in somebody. And there's a lot of people who say that we might make the midseason trade for Valanciunas. Also weird to me that we would have prioritized signing Max Christie to $8 million as opposed to going hard after Valanciunas if we really wanted to get Valanciunas. Maybe we're going to trade Christie for Jonas at some point. I don't know. None of this has made sense to me. But I also wasn't surprised because I was calling us running it back pretty early, much to some people's annoyance. And I don't care if you get annoyed with what I say or if you don't agree or you don't like it. And please feel free to disagree, especially if in the form of sending Gerald an email. Gerald loves to get emails from our fan base about how annoyed they are with me or our other panelists that we have here.
I'm curious, JB.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of the basketball shows out there.
None.
Not a lot. I don't have time.
No,
but,
exactly.
But do these guys? Does anybody out there know like how those guys react when they get a bad email? Do they get into their feelings? Because I'm guessing they do, right?
I don't know.
And I want to. I think it's already obvious for the regulars here, but for those who might have just chimed in for the first time today, we don't care. We will not be controlled by anyone.
No.
We have a certain fan base, and we cater to them. And that fan base, while not as fast as we want it to be, will grow. And will continue to grow to the point where, because think about it for a second, guys. Rush Limbaugh, Alex Jones, on all these news channels, those guys have millions of fans, and those guys shouldn't even really. Those guys have fans, right? We're nice, we're good people. We're not out jacking people up, right? So
at least not on our show.
Yeah, come on. But going back to the game, going back to just basketball in general now in the world. Yeah. Now forget about the NBA, forget about the Olympics, this basketball. The reason why we look back on the past teams and then compare it to now, you cannot. And I'll tell you why. You have a philosophy and a culture now in basketball where if you can shoot the ball, you are going to compete. and Serbia was killing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing it. And when they did have their little rough spot with South Sudan a few weeks ago, it was the same thing. South Sudan was hitting all game long. And up until the last 5 minutes of this game, Serbia was hitting all game long. So the story is, if you keep hitting all game long, you have a very good shot at winning the game.
Yep.
And that's what basketball has turned into. The question I have is, will we ever see this busted? Because there was a short amount of time in 2020 that I saw it happen. It happened to be the Lakers against the Miami Heat. And I saw it also during the Western playoff run too. They busted the shooting teams.
Yeah.
Their athleticism, their ability to close out lanes, close the gap between whatever position that their guys were playing at. They were there. There was never any room to really do much. So what does that tell you? If you have, in my book, if you have teams are going to be built like this, I think, in the future, based off of, let's say, what we've seen with Anthony Davis recently, what we've seen with Bam, what we've seen with Wembanyama. So what the roster construction that I think will work in the future to stop shooting greatness, shooting craziness, if you will, is you have a freakishly athletic defensive stud at center who's long, tall, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 4 Dobermans and Bulldogs in the other 4 positions.
I think that's what you saw with Milwaukee, I thought, when they won. That was perhaps Chris Middleton's best defensive year ever. They had Drew Holiday. There's another guy on that team. Oh, Bobby Portis Jr., who got after it. And, of course, Brook Lopez and Giannis are elite, both in the paint. Giannis everywhere. And Brook Lopez is a stalwart on defense in the paint. Like, he's just the kind of guy you would want in the paint. He understands positioning. He understands verticality. He's not athletic. He does it with positioning. He's like Pau Gasol. Like, people are like, oh, but doesn't Pau Gasol do all this stuff, or, jump or things like that? Because he's just moving his feet. So you can move your feet, and that's just as good as being able to jump, if not better, frankly. If you understand how to. Everybody, we're all pleading the fifth on Rodell in his email. Like, we're all just moving on, and I don't think I'll ever respond to him again because it's not worth my time.
Well, Rodell made a major mistake. I didn't mind his emails up until about 5 days ago.
Yeah. No, I know.
We all know what he pulled there, and then that was sorry, Rodell. That was the one that killed you. You had all the credibility before, even though I didn't answer but when you said that, you lost all credibility. You pulled the worst card out of your deck that you could have pulled because it's BS, and I'm not going to give any attention to it.
Nah, we're moving on. Yeah. But there was this comment. Sean had a comment about it, which I thought was funny, and it was. So anyhow, I think it's funny to hear. You're not wrong, right? That is the blueprint for not just modern NBA success, but like NBA success for a sustained period of time. Go back and look at any dynasty. Every single dynasty is built on the idea of 2 things: being above average to elite on defense, preferably elite, and having the ability to play inside-out basketball. Whether that means, back to the basket, low post threat in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Shaq, or even kind of Gasol. But Gasol was great during the transition, and you saw him as a transitional player because he could pick and pop. He ended his career shooting more threes than he started his career, but never was part of like the 3-point revolution. But you have to be able to work the ball inside out, because when you have that ability, that's what opens up quality 3-point shots. Everybody talks about volume this, volume that. And I look at most of the teams who shot volume 3-pointers, and they didn't do great in the playoffs. They didn't win the NBA Finals. They did okay during the regular season, but you need to be able to generate quality. You can't just shoot the three ball and say like, "Oh, we're doing great. What wonderful offense we have." You have to generate quality looks. They have to be good looks, and that is from inside out basketball, driving and kicking, doubling somebody like AD in the post who kicks it out to a shooter, Wemby, Jokic, so on and so forth. If you're an elite passer like Jokic, you can control the action from anywhere on the court because you have the ability to throw an expert pass over the defense or under the defense when they're not expecting it. And those are the things that separate the great centers right now. Is if you do you have that last dimension? You can score from inside, great. You can play defense inside, great. Can you cover the 3-point line? Oh, now you're elite. Can you pass? Now you're super elite. Oh, can you shoot the three ball too? You're the Joker, right? And so if you have that 5-tool center, of which there's really only one, because I don't think Embiid has the passing game that Jokic has. He's a better scorer probably, but he doesn't have that last dimension of. Neither are great defenders. Jokic is fine on defense on Denver because they have guys that can kind of help him out and cover for him, box out, let him get rebounds so that he doesn't have to box out. And he boxes out for other guys too. Aaron Gordon's the perfect complement to Jokic because he plays bigger than he is. But little is, in my opinion, and I've been watching basketball since the 80s, little has changed from working it inside out. And you get great shots that way. That's just, in my opinion, that is fundamental basketball. And they can rebrand it any 20 different ways they want to rebrand it. They can call it, 7 seconds or less, which is just quick hitters. They can call it the 3-point revolution, which is just shooting volume threes, evidently. Just shooting a lot of threes. I'll maintain for forever that like the reason those Golden State Warrior teams with Steph Curry are great was because of their defense and because they had a guy like Draymond who you could give the ball to in the post and he could make a play off the pass. It's not just Steph Curry running around jacking up threes. And whenever people kind of describe it as that, it does kind of piss me off a little bit because it's just like, no, you're not really watching. You're maybe looking at a box score and saying, "Oh, look at all the threes Steph hit. Wow, what a revolution we're in the middle of." No, it doesn't work like that. You didn't see that like they worked the ball into the post to Draymond. Draymond moved himself to a position where he knew when Steph was coming off the screen, he was going to hit him with an easy pass, and Steph was going to come up with that split second. That is inside out basketball, modern inside out basketball. And guys, that's one of the things the Lakers, when LeBron isn't in this level of competitive mode, that's what the Lakers lack. We don't have a guy who can take it inside out. We just don't. And so that's an issue for us right now.
It's interesting you brought the Golden State dynasty run. There's been a few times I've brought this up, maybe not on the show, but when we speak about certain things, and Jamie said it so eloquently, and we've repeated this before, folks. We're basing our analysis off what we watched, and I'm not expecting a lot of you to remember like we do. That's why you're watching the show, to get that information. But for those of you who are out, I must chime in and say you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to bring up something that happened 8 years ago that I remember. And this is distinctive, and you're going to understand it since Jamie brought up the Golden State team. 2016, we all know what happened in the finals, correct, Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
So what was the major issue in that series? Because everyone kept clamoring on to and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get a little brutal here, to the human tendencies and the human condition. You all got focused on Draymond Green getting suspended in Game 5, and everybody uses that excuse on why the Golden State Warriors didn't win, forgetting that Draymond Green played in Game 6 and Game 7, and one of those games was, oh, wait, hold on, at home, right? So, what lost?
Game 7, I think. No,
Game 5. Lost? Yes, Game 7, because at that time they had switched it to the 2-2-2, 1-1-1, right? So if you go back to that series, and my fellow Aussie contingency are going to appreciate this, Andrew Bogut started that series pretty effective. and he was effective when he was there in Golden State. And I remember distinctively, it was very hard for Cleveland to get to the basket without him being in the way. When he got injured and was out of the series, it was like a layup line after that.
Yeah.
Go watch the tape, folks. If you have time, go watch all 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, and you tell me what you see. You see the difference between not having Bogut and having Bogut. And that, folks, was really what killed Golden State in that series. Not that, and the fact that LeBron went supersonic, just, in a Cleveland uniform. The guy led, and this is the other funny part about that, and I have mentioned this on the show a few times. I always crack up that, oh, well, Kyrie won that thing for him. I'm like, you all know what the stats were? And this is a 7-game series. This is not one game. LeBron led not only Cleveland, but Golden State in that series in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, all 5 major categories in 7 games. Not Cleveland, Golden State too. So, folks, another reminder for all you, because Jamie and I, maybe a little more emotional with this. Gerald can get emotional, but he tries to be, nice to everybody, and he likes to be nice. I don't, guys like Jamie and I, we want to be nice, but I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
I don't even know if I want to be nice.
No.
Sometimes
and nice is a level that can be determined by the person listening. For all we know, we're the nicest people to some, and then we're complete dicks to others. It just depends on the person. So we want to pay attention to what we're watching, folks. And, today's game is a big example of how the construction of this game, the construction of this team, the construction of the times, all is coming to one conclusion here probably in the next few days, which is the United States team winning the gold. And in the end, the results are going to tell you what good or bad this was. And it's going to likely be all good, because we were criticizing Embiid. We were criticizing Steph Curry throughout this run, because that's what we do. We criticize. We're critics, right? And sometimes we get into our feelings and we get into the emotional of it all, the emotions of it all. And we want to be kind of jerks and we want to troll. But really, at the end of the day, folks, every single player on this team had a role. And I'll use the Jason Tatum one as an interesting role. Jason Tatum is the guy on the bench that Steve Kerr knew wouldn't complain. Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, for those of you who are, where's Jaylen Brown? Where's the Eastern Conference MVP? Where's the Finals MVP? Okay. If Jaylen Brown is benched for 2 minutes every game, right? Because Steve Kerr thought maybe they didn't need him. Would it be different with him versus Jason Tatum? And this is more a compliment to Jason Tatum, because I feel like he gets a lot of flack to these scum-sucking pigs of a media and trolls for no reason. He never anointed himself anything. He never sat there and said, I want to be this or I am this. He goes about his business. He continues to compete. Yeah, he doesn't shoot well sometimes. Okay, what have you done in your life lately? He's got a Supermax contract. He's a world champion. He's been competitive for the last 5 seasons, gone to the finals twice, gonna be in the Hall of Fame. What have you done? What do you do, media guys? Criticizing him even at the damn podium. Oh, look at Jason Tatum. He's not happy. Oh, Jason Tatum is not playing in the Olympics. Oh, my God, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with Steve Kerr? You see, you just got to find something, right?
Yeah.
You just got to find something. Folks, the guy just came off 5 straight years of deep playoff runs. Maybe he's tired. Use some common sense. Oh, wait, some of you guys don't watch the games, so you just watch box scores. Got it. Okay, perfect. So with that, I wanted to throw that last thing in there, a little patronizing comment, because I want that to go out a little bit if it can. I want it to go out there because, at the end of the day, folks, there's only 5 players that can play at a time.
Yep.
Okay, 5. We keep showing that 5 thing again.
We have
right?
KD, LeBron.
5.
Yeah.
5, folks, 5. You can't play 14 guys. And and I wanted to make this clear too, because we keep talking about it. We don't have a clearance on it. Folks, we can play up to 15 players in an NBA game. And then there's 3 players, 18 total, 3 players that play on a 2-way.
Yep.
So you can suit 15 guys. And how many players do the Lakers have now? Like 19?
No, I think we're right at 18. Maybe 22.
I don't even think they know who they have. So we can't have a good show without Gerald and his Darth Vader voice today telling me to shut up.
Be good, Joe.
Media is about controversy for noise. Yeah, but Eric, if the audience didn't weren't moths to the flame, we wouldn't have this problem. We'd have more clear, concise journalism because that's what you would demand. But the problem is, back in the 90s when TV really got big and you start getting all these channels, and then, of course, it just kept progressing from there. You start showing more Jerry Springer type garbage, Teen Mom trash, and Kardashian garbage. And then this is what it's seeped into sports now. And that's probably where my get off my lawn attitude comes from, because the fact that we didn't need to do this. There is a section for that stuff. Go watch the USA channel, the E channel at midnight. Like, you keep it there. Don't bring it to my stuff. Don't bring it to sports. That's probably where my angst is on that.
No, we don't need Skip Bayless on our channel. Thanks.
Yeah, Skip Bayless is trash. Anytime that scumbag is on TV, I change it. And I hate the fact that I had to go through the channel to get to him. Him and who's that other Pinocchio nose piece of shit, Nick Wright. They're going to give him more time on Fox. So Fox, you guys, I don't know what the hell you guys do at Fox, but you guys are trash.
I'll tell you
your programs.
I'll tell you what cable news and cable sports programs I watch. That's right. It's nothing.
Oh, you got me on that one.
No. I watch.
I was like, who, Jamie?
I watch absolutely 0 of them because it's exactly what you said. It's like moths to a flame, and I'm not a moth. I'm not a sheep. I'm not a moth. I don't know what I'm a Scorpio, so I guess I'm a scorpion. So there we go.
That's good. That's good. Keep it that way, because again, you want to continue your ethical ways.
I suppose.
Because in the end, if you don't have that, at least in the end, if you have that and the world is ending, you're like, look, man, I tried.
That's right.
I tried. I did everything I could.
That's what I just want to tell everybody. I'm like, you know what, dude? You believe what you want. You say what you want. You know what's going to happen in the end? We're all going to be in the same boat.
Sir. Sir.
I'm going to be dead. So
yeah. Thank you again for the. We had a subscriber in. We've hit 1,800 subscribers, and we're here as a basketball show, but we're also a entertainment show. And yes, we do throw in some personal things in here. Jamie and I like to talk about, I'd say when Jamie and I, which is rare, when we do talk, it is about fun and it is about basketball. And we do throw in a few personal things here and there. And for those of you who are new here, please, Gerald loves this. Just talk politics. Throw in a political statement, throw in a political question, especially directed at me, because I answer them very well. And Gerald, before we do shows, he's like, please, Joe, try to make this work. And he's very excited about it. So with that, and we're talking about, the Olympics, international games, there's a political attachment to this too. And the United States is right now representing pretty well. It's been very nice. I'm hearing things like LeBron as Captain America. When have we heard that? When have we heard LeBron wrapping the United States flag around his body?
Now you're gonna
what is this?
You're gonna make Gerald do a pop culture cosplay.
What is this, folks? I don't know. Can we talk about it? I Hey, call me a nationalist, call me an imperialist, call me whatever you want.
Joe,
hey,
you might not be,
folks, I go to work every day.
Joe, you might not be able to see this, but Gerald is telling you to shut up in the chat.
That's the second one, so I know that the chat is going exactly how I want it to go. and we are here to support. We are here to support and to cheer on the United States of America, United States basketball team especially, because right now they are one win away. And how fitting that they're in Paris playing France for the gold medal. And again, folks, to bring my American ego to this, we're going to kill France again when they need us. Or help them. Or not, or whatever.
Not going to be.
Again, I want to thank France, though, for the Statue of Liberty. A lot of people don't know this, but
we gave them one too.
When France gave us the Statue of Liberty, it used to be copper.
Yep.
Can you imagine stealing that, Gerald? I'm sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, no.
Imagine, because I'm in the contracting business. We hear stories about I have certain friends that are union types out in LA, in your area, and of course they'll leave the site that night, not day, that night. And then between like 11 and 4, all of a sudden there's a raid to all the copper and all the scrap metal or whatever it is the hell that people steal.
That I believe. That I believe.
So, yeah.
Stealing the Statue of Liberty sounds like a Despicable Me movie plot. Like, we'll steal the Statue of Liberty.
Yes. I would. Well, David Copperfield, which I think is, the irony is hilarious and the pun is even better. So imagine you had David Copperfield stealing or I guess hiding the largest copper statue at least that I know of. So we had some questions here, Jamie. I probably opened Pandora's box with this, but again, why not to celebrate our 1,800 subscriber here? We're getting close to 2,000. So Alan Gervais, Alan with an I. Alan looks like an Alan Gervais, like I look like a Grover Smith. Would you agree, Alan? Jamie? I don't know if that's really you in the picture, but you look nothing like an Alan Gervais. Gervais always reminds me of some limey guy from England. But anyways, Alan with an I had a question. What did I think? And I got to ask Jamie this because I'm gonna work off your response to this. Jamie, he's asking me what I thought about the opening ceremony.
Oh, well, let's talk about Moss to a Flame. I mean, first off, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to tell you what I think this way. So I work with computers. I didn't go to school for computers. I went to school for theater. So when I saw that, I saw it for what it was. And then when I saw the reaction, it just confirmed my opinion that most people don't know what they're talking about, because everybody who got flipped off and pissed off and all their panties in a bunch, or however you want to describe that, it was some sort of critique on a Leonardo da Vinci painting of an event that never happened, flipped out because they thought France was mocking the Last Supper. No, that was a Greek orgy, and it was. And maybe, who knows? Maybe that's how the Last Supper ended. I wasn't there. I didn't get the Evite, so I didn't show up. But I thought it was cool. I liked the Gojira rocked it out. I thought that it would have been a little bit difficult for the people sitting on all those bridges to sit there for a while doing their bits. But it's like any opening set. I thought it was cool that it went down the river. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool. Then the reaction of America was then hilarious, because it just confirms what I have always known about America, that most of America just goes like this. Blah! They see something, they go, blah! And then when somebody points out that they're wrong, they go, okay, but next time it'll be justified. And they don't. There's no. Maybe I should learn about the thing I'm about to go blah about before I just start blabbering away on social media. And that's the problem with social media, is that because it's unfiltered, it is unfiltered. And as we all know, everything's better filtered. Beer, better filtered. Milk, better filtered. I can't think of anything. Pool water, better filtered. You name it. It's probably better filtered. So, whether you think that's true or not, whether you agree with me or not, or anybody, frankly, I thought the opening ceremonies were fine. I thought the reaction to it was hilarious.
Well, I have a much more non-conventional response to that. If you all want to hear it, you can probably hit me up and I'll tell it to you. But looking at it from a traditional standpoint, I'm not a big fan of feminizing things for men. And I think there's been a feminizing genocide of men the last decade in society, and I'm trying to bring it back as much as I can, because when you weaken men, you weaken a family, you weaken a neighborhood, you weaken a city, you weaken a state, and you weaken a country, and then of course you weaken a culture. And I'll stand on that until I die. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't get a kick out of RuPaul growing up back in the 90s when he would do his thing. I thought his song, Work It, whatever the hell it was, I thought it was a good song. I grew up around it. Didn't grow up wanting to turn into RuPaul, but I did respect the talent. But that's exactly where it stayed. It stayed in that particular realm. When you start bringing it into the home, start bringing it into traditional and conventional, and I don't want to use the word conservative because that word has been destroyed by politics, same as the liberal word. But I am not. I'm conservative in the sense of not my politics. I'm conservative as in I don't like a lot of weird stuff at home. Okay, my kids don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. And whatever the level of that is for you all, you guys can take that however you want. I don't allow disrespect. And no, my children do not have a say in our family. They're 14 and 11. Yeah, they have a say in what they want to wear on their hair to a certain degree, but they don't make decisions. I am not a Hollywood movie where the 14-year-old comes in and says, I hate you. I'm going in my room. That stuff does not happen in my house. It has never happened, and it never will happen. Okay? And those are the type of things that I think about when I think about the structure of things. I believe everybody has a role. And when you start messing with that, that's when the scorpion hook comes out. And I'm not even a Scorpio. I'm a Pisces. I'm a fish. So, to answer your question, folks, I try to do it as diplomatic as possible so that Gerald doesn't have a heart attack going along with whatever the hell he has in his throat. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I think it's all it is shock. They're trying to F with people. Okay, it's not about anything other than that. And y'all want to start talking about things. Let's be real here too. Stop celebrating obesity. Okay, stop doing it. Okay, I was walking through a mall the other day and I saw a Victoria's Secret, and I saw 3 fat women in lingerie, not heavy set, not thick. I'm talking fat, and I know the difference. I'm a man. I like women. I know the difference between thick and fat, and those women were fat. Stop celebrating obesity. That's what I got out of the ceremony, because I'm already used to the other stuff. And again, I can go in another tangent there. If you guys want to hear what I really feel about that, you can contact me personally. And then, of course, the one that I'm really not happy with, and I'll leave it at this. I'm not going to go into it too much. It revolves around the boxing. Yes. boxing. Folks, keep things separate in boxing. We are not the same. And I'll leave it at that. So, with that, folks, I hope I answered all your questions.
You're killing Gerald right now.
I know. And that was the point here. I wanted Gerald to be a little uncomfortable since he's already uncomfortable. So it kind of, works all together. But with that, the United States beat Serbia in a highly contested event. Serbia had led through the entire game. They had won every quarter until the fourth quarter. And I want to just say I salute the players for turning it on, coming in clutch. Yes, it sucks that we had to kind of get a little nervous there, but for entertainment purposes and for a memory, we saw how resilient this team got towards the end, and you saw the greatest players of our generation. Greatest: Durant, LeBron, Steph, Embiid, even Jokic on the other side. You saw the greatest basketball players of our generation battle in a world game. And as a sports person, as someone who loves sports, someone who watches every sport as much as I can, we got a treat today. Embrace it, love it. Even the guys that lost won today. And again, Jamie, I want to thank you for coming in. I usually don't like doing the show by myself. I can do it all day, but I prefer to have someone with me because I like the dialogue. Of course, I love dialoguing with the fans, but it's much harder to dialogue with fans usually when I'm solo. I mean, answering questions I don't know. It just seems like it's not enough for me. I like to have someone on the show. So Thank you all for being here today. Again, you guys will be getting more content in. Gerald was sick, and I have been extremely busy. I've been doing a little transition in the business, and I've been pretty much brain dead when I've been getting home, so I haven't been able. But we will be bringing on shows even in this dead time of August. I'm going to try to see if we can do a show and also do a playback for the gold medal game. I'm going to try to work that into my schedule here in the next few days. So kind of stay tuned for that. If anybody has any questions or comments, again, you can contact me at on my X file or Twitter, whatever the hell they call it. I call it like different names every time I'm on the show. It's Joe Soro LFB on Twitter, X. You can reach me at sinblades_turf on Instagram. If you want to reach me on Facebook, I'm Johnny Blade with the Punisher logo. And of course, you can email us at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. And Jamie, if you want to give your input on that, I don't think you do, so I'm good with that. If you want to talk to Jamie, folks, you got to talk to Gerald because Jamie just doesn't have time, guys.
I do. Well, no, you can find me on Facebook.
You sure? Oh, good.
Yeah, find me on Facebook. I'm just me everywhere.
So Jamie's sweet with the smile, right?
Sometimes.
Okay, good.
Yes, Gerald, I think we are going to be doing a Lakerholics this weekend. I have not confirmed with the other two fellers as to when and how and why, but probably we'll still do it.
Excellent. So with that, thank you all for being here tonight, wherever you are. Until next time, we'll see you next time.